Sonic 3D Blast was released on the Sega Genesis and Saturn in 1996, although I'm going to be speaking specifically about the Genesis version in this video. As the title would suggest, this spin-off was Sonic's plunge into the world of 3D. Kind of. These are actually 2D sprites on a pre-rendered isometric background, although the graphics were transferred from 3D models. But in all fairness, this is probably for the best. 3D graphics on a three-dimensional map on the Genesis would have probably been too much. I mean, look at how this opening sequence plays out. Graphically, it's impressive for the Genesis, but if the gameplay looked and moved like this, it would have played like complete shit. At first glance, it looks like a pseudo 3D version of the classic Sonic games. There's rings, loop-de-loops, special stages, monitors with items inside, robots with animals trapped inside, and battles with Robotnik. All the tools necessary for a fast-paced platformer starring everyone's favorite hedgehog. But there are a few things that alter the landscape of the game, aside from the literal landscape being in 3D. The plot isn't really much different from anything we've seen before. Robotnik has kidnapped the little animals of Flicky Island and trapped them in his robots to collect Chaos Emeralds for him. But this time the animals, or Flickies in this game, will play a much greater role than usual. The stages are still branded as zones, each with different themes and designs, with each stage being the acts that divide them. But now each act is divided up into segments, for lack of a better term. Each segment is barricaded off, and you have to unlock the door to the next segment to continue the act. After defeating an enemy, the Flickies that are restrained within the robot escapes, just like in previous Sonic games, but this time, instead of just running off, these Flickies will wander around the area, and you have to pick them up. There are 5 Flickies per segment, and bringing them all to the door, or more specifically this giant ring that hangs above, will unlock the door. If you get hit while possessing the Flickies, they'll scatter, much like the rings do, and you have to pick them up all over again, sometimes having to backtrack to the beginning of the segment if you lose it for too long. You don't have to bring every single one of them to the door all at once. You can grab 2, bring them to the ring gate, and then go back for the others. The little counter on the bottom will indicate how many Flickies are left in the current segment, and how many are still captive. So this whole Flicky collection thing really changes up the pace of the game. You're not going from 0 to 60 and flying all over the place, plus the level design is more enclosed, so you're not even really able to move at high speeds even if you wanted to. Not to mention that the controls are quite slippery, so you're gonna be more inclined to tread lightly anyway, which isn't helped by the fact that taking hits doesn't just lead to rings falling about, but now the Flickies do too, and having to backtrack and chase these little fuckers down isn't anyone's idea of a good time. Especially these red ones that bounce around. You have to catch them off the ground right as they land. Not to mention that jumping between platforms is more of a chore than it should be, especially moving platforms. While this whole scavenger hunt, collect them all formula is a fresh idea for the Sonic franchise, it may not have been the best idea to reinvent the wheel, especially since we were already voyaging into uncharted waters with the 3D environment. The slippery controls mixed with the pseudo 3D backdrop and the tedious task of having to find the last Flicky puts a pretty big dent in the fun factor level. And while this isn't a bad game, it is unfortunate that after several bangers in the mainline series, Sonic's Genesis career was bookended with another spin-off misfire. First zone is Green Grove, and it's modeled after the familiar design of Green Hill and Emerald Hill. You'll run into an open area. To the east side there's a nook, remember that in a little bit. There's a shield toward the south end of this area, and some springs for rings and a Sonic head. These things aren't extra lives like the Sonic heads that you'll find in the monitors. These will give you a continue after you collect 3 of them, and they get harder to reach over time. You'll need all 5 Flickies in an area to reach it at some spots. There's a robot wandering around here. Roll into him to take him out and grab the Flicky. Head uphill and you've got 2 more badniks. This time they have this device or some shit that revolves around them, so just make sure you don't hit that thing. Up another hill and you've got the last 2 badniks, and this time there's this mounted gun in the middle of the floor that fires in 4 different directions, rotating around. You can't kill it, so just be mindful of its attacks while you're here. Grab the shield and ring box and hit up the ring gate. Before you advance, there's a hidden area through this wall back here you can roll your way through. Look for the crack in the wall and it'll lead to a gold shield. This shield will allow you to hone in on enemies while in midair for an easier attack. Hop into the cannon and it'll fire you back into the nook from earlier, but this time Knuckles is there. If you have enough rings, cash in for the special stage. That's right, the special stages in this game are these bridges that have a long line of rings that you have to collect a certain amount, very similar to the Sonic 2 special stages. But instead of just simply having enough rings, you have to actually pay them to Tails or Knuckles, which can actually leave you vulnerable. So use your discretion on whether or not you want to even bother with these. The special stages will lead to Chaos Emeralds, which of course leads to the quote-unquote good ending. So if you want that, go for it. After going through the ring gate, you'll end up with a rotating gun and a badnik. Take him out and the bridge to the west leads to the ring gate. But first go south and you've got another one of these guys, a ring box to the south, and up north is a pair of speed sneakers, if that tickles your fancy. I find these to be more detrimental in this game. Keep going south across the bridge and you can backtrack here off the edge to the beginning of Area 1, but this time Tails is there for a special stage. There's an invincibility up the way, which will help you plow through these two schmucks up this way. There's another gold shield up north by the waterfall, and then continuing on, you can spring yourself up this road where there'll be one more of these baddies, and the ring gate to the end of the stage is here. This is where the bridge connects you from the other side from earlier. In Act 2, you get all 5 of the badniks right off the bat, spread amongst a wide open area. There's a ring box at the very beginning, a shield to the east of that, and an invincibility up this spring. And the ring gate is right on the west of the wall. It brings you down here. Head to the south for a special stage hosted by Knuckles, then head east up this spring to the next open area. There's a shield to the west, a gold shield around the bend down here, and an invincibility up north through the rock you can plow through. In this area, use the spring here to get up this way for a special stage with Tails. Back out in the main area, there are 3 badniks, one of which is a caterpillar type robot that hops from hole to hole. Attack it with a timed jump to get the flicky, and there's some hidden speed shoes behind the tree. Cross the bridge to the west to get the last 2 robots of the area, and behind this crack in the wall to the east lies a gold shield, extra life, and a cannon that sends you back to the first area. And back before you busted up the wall is a ring gate. There's a shield in the northwest along with a caterpillar to kill, then cross the bridge eastward, and there are 3 more enemies in here, plus a spring to a Sonic head. And then right after that is the last baddie, a gold shield down in the southeast corner, and the ring gate to end the stage. Now on to Act 3, or the boss battle for the zone. Robotnik sends out a spiked ball that rolls around the area. Avoid it, but you'll want to stay close enough to it because he'll have to come back to it and drop down to pick it up. And this is when you can attack. Normally he's too high up to hit. You'll just smack the side of his ship and take a hit. You need to hit the glass from overhead. Hit and run, evade the spike, and repeat the process. There's also a lot of rings in the corners of the room to restock and keep yourself from being able to take a fatal hit. As a rule of thumb with any of these bosses, I'd grab 1 ring at a time to maximize your refill potential. After dealing enough shots, his ship will explode and it's on to Rusty Ruin Zone. At the start of Act 1, head up here for a ring box, and then watch these green spheres. They'll bounce you around and you could get knocked into this spiked ball on a chain that swings around. Use the fans to give you a spin and send you through these pillars. Just watch out for these spikes sitting over here. You'll reach your first 2 badniks, a gator and a bee. Roll them over, and the spring will leave you out of reach for the Sonic head normally, but you can come back with some flickies later. And this is pretty much how it goes for the rest of the game. So this is optional if you want to try for the continues. Watch out for these flame blasts, wait for an opening before advancing. There's another gator and a bee right after that, and you'll find the ring gate. You still need one more flicky. Head up these stairs and take out the gator that's right next to another spring for a Sonic head. Before taking on the ring gate, you can use the fans from earlier to spring your way between the chain and back down to the other side where you came from and knock these pillars down for a special stage with tails. When you do take the ring gate, grab the ring box and use the spinny fans to get you through here. Take out the bee, watch the swinging balls, and kill the gator. Head up here, just watch for the spikes against the wall, grab the flame shield, and now you don't have to worry about all this shit, providing you don't take a hit first. The flame shields will protect you from all fire and lava type shit. Kill the gator here, and use the spinnies to carefully maneuver your way past the spikes down here. Kill the bee and rip these pillars apart to advance to the ring gate. There's a spring for a Sonic head immediately after that, a gator over here next to some spin fans that lead to a shield, and as you continue south, you have the option of riding the spinny this way to a hidden passage that leads to a special stage with Knuckles. Continuing on, there's another gator, a bee right after some swinging chains, another gator down here, and then a bee right after that to complete the flicky collection of Act 1. In Act 2, you've got a spring that leads right to a ring box, plus there's a Sonic head over it you'll need to come back for if you want it. Kill the 2 bees in this open area, there's one down here and another up here by an invincibility. And then there's 2 gators, one up here near the second bee, and then another on the way down these stairs to the ring gate. Here you'll use a spring to launch yourself up this hill, and the little platforms that pop out will give you the footing that you'll need. Timing this out and angling yourself is not easy, especially with the slippery controls, but thankfully there are no hazards here. Head up the left side first to get a flame shield, just be careful with the swinging spiked chain, and then once you get up the hill, use the spinnies to clear a path, and then carefully make this jump using the spring. If you fall down instead, you'll end up back in segment 1 and you'll have to backtrack. Once you do get across, the first 3 baddies are right in a linear sequence, and then you'll have to veer off this way for a bee and the speed shoes if you really want those. Going back up this way, you've got some more floating platforms, but if you fall, you can just head this way to get the same destination. Just watch out for the chains, kill the bee, and you've got another ring gate. Right away you get 2 gators and a bee, so you're already 60% done with the last segment. Take the spring up here for a bee, and then use the spin fans to get down here, and then down here for a gator and the last flicky. Break this wall of pillars with the spin fans if you have to reset your spin function. Hop across the floating platforms to the ring gate, but before you do, drop down here for a flame shield if you don't still have one, and the ring gate ends the act. And now you're onto the boss stage, Act 3. Robotic follows a simple pattern here. The robotic paws will lunge out and eventually drop. Just make sure you're not underneath it at any point, and once it drops, be ready to avoid the projectiles he fires from straight ahead, and use the paw as a platform. When he brings the paw back closer to him, that's when you'll jump and get a hit. Repeat the process until he's done for, and it's on to Spring Stadium Zone. You'll run through a series of loop-de-loops and emerge in a pseudo half-pipe kind of thing that leads to a fork in the road. If you head right, you'll reach a ring box, an extra life if you spring up this way, and an invincibility as you circle back around to the beginning of the fork. It's optional, but it does provide some power-ups. One thing to take note of are the floors with retractable spikes. They'll poke up like a second after you step on them, so jump as soon as you do. Heading left at the fork, you've got an area that's made up solely of either more retractable spikes or springs. So try to navigate by the springs and minimize your time on the spiked parts. There's a spiked spider and a dragonfly up here. Kill them for some flickies, circle around this way for a gold shield and a spiked crab. Make sure you roll into these spiked guys, by the way. I know it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. Then go back, spring your way up here for another crab, a shield, and on the left side at the far end is a spiked flying blowfish or some shit. Wait for him to retract, and then jump up to smash him. On the right side is the ring gate. and you'll end up in this open area with a ring box on the right, an invincibility on the left, and a spring to a special stage hosted by Tails on the left side as well. Continuing north, leap over these spiked areas and spring up here where you'll hit up some loop-de-loops. Follow the path south and kill the spider here. Drop down for a crab and some speed shoes. Continue down the path here and you can either press on north to continue the path or bang a quick left where you'll meet up with Knuckles for another special stage. Going back to where you were, continue north and you'll reach a dragonfly, flying blowfish, and a crab on your way to the ring gate and the end of Act 1. At the beginning of Act 2, you'll traverse down this hill. Be careful not to smack the bumpers, they'll send you off in unpredictable directions like the pinball type levels you've seen in Sonic games of old, and they could send you into the spikes. Kill the blowfish thing, watch out for more of these spikes as you follow the path, kill the 2 spiders, and spring your way up here for a shield. Continue on, grab the ring box, take out the dragonfly, and you'll find an invincibility when you spring up here. Before you continue down the path, spring your way up here for a crab, and there's a Sonic head you'll need to spring for here. Watch these rotating spiked dreidels or whatever the hell they are. They don't move incredibly fast, but there's a lot of them, and those slippery controls can create a recipe for disaster here. The ring gate is thankfully right after that, and you're sent off on another downhill slope with all these fucking bumpers. Stop for the speed shoes if you want to, take out the crab, and slip down this little drop for a special stage meet up with both Knuckles and Tails. Then back along the other way, watch your footing with all the goddamn spikes, knock out the spider, spring your way up here, and take out the dragonfly. Spring up several levels here, but move quickly, there's spikes galore, and grab the invincibility. After a loop-de-loop, you'll drop down another hill of bumpers with a crab waiting for you. Take out the blowfish, and spring your way up here for the ring gate. In the next section, kill the dragonfly right away, then take out the blowfish, grab the ring box, and spring your way up these balloons to get up here. Follow the path, spring your way up here for a gold shield, then up this way, kill the crab, follow the linear path, and take out the spider. Drop down here, watch out for all these fucking spikes, take out the crab, and stay to the right side at the home stretch so you don't hit the spikes on the left side of the wall where the slope dips down, and the gate to the end of the act is just ahead. Now Act 3, aka the boss battle. Robotnik flies around and then goes into a frantic attack with the ship's arms. He's out of reach normally, but drops down for the attack, which is when you're able to hit him. Get behind him so you can smash him, and he's always facing the south side, so you won't have to get yourself turned around, but you will want to lure him toward the south side at least a little bit so you have room behind him. So cheat your way to that direction, and time it so you switch off before he comes down. Keep in mind too that there are those retractable spikes around the perimeter, so don't get too close to the edge. After enough shots, he's done for, and it's on to Diamond Dust Zone. Oh, and goody, it's ice themed, so the slippery controls are going to be even worse. You'll start off in this small area and drop down here where you'll get a river of snow, but if you manage to swim against it, you'll reach Knuckles on the left and hit up the special stage. Then back down the normal path, you'll hit up a small snowman that fires snowballs in all directions and is surrounded by bumpers. Jump over all that shit and try to land on him. It's easier than rolling between all the damn bumpers. Just keep in mind the flickies will often end up inside ice cubes, so jump on them to free them before grabbing them. There's a spring nearby for a Sonic head, a penguin right after that just waddles around, and then you're at the first ring gate along with 2 more penguins and a bunny that jumps on a pogo stick, and you're on to the next segment. Grab the shield behind the spikes, just be careful not to get poked, and then hit the spring and jump over the gap, otherwise you'll have to backtrack. There'll be a penguin right away, a bunch of these cold air blowing machines. They'll freeze you up and drain your rings, so stay in the air as much as you can. You'll hit an open area with 2 more penguins, and then another snow river. Go upstream, and up here is a pogo bunny, followed by 1 more right at the ring gate. There's also a spring to a Sonic head right after that for good measure. There's a bunch of exploding snowmen early on, Stand clear, bang a left for a gold shield, take out the penguin, and clear the snow in the corners here for the hidden springs to move on. You'll encounter a pair of snowball throwing snowmen and a pogo bunny with one more penguin at the end by the ring gate. Make sure to grab the extra life in the corner before you activate it, and it's on to Act 2. You've got 2 penguins right off the bat and a few exploding snowmen in tight corridors, so tread lightly so you can back away from this bullshit. Watch the bumpers and the cold air machine as you deal with a pogo bunny, a snowball snowman after that right by a shield, and a penguin with the ring gate right after that. Just watch out for the spikes. Grab the ring box, slide down, and over the spikes in the corner here is a special stage with tails. Back out in the open area, you've got a snowball snowman and a bunny, a gold shield behind the spikes here, and a spring for a sonic head right after. Then you'll hit up an open area right by the ring gate with a snowman, penguin, and bunny to round out the last of the flicky guards before the last segment. You'll go down a long icy slide, and you just might miss a turn at the end of it that leads to a Knuckles special stage, and a hidden extra life in this nook here. Back down the linear path, watch out for the detonating snowman, and a pair of penguins right after that before another snow river. Before you jump in, grab the shield that's back here, then make your way across, kill the snowman, and take the hidden springs upwards. Down the home stretch is a bunny and a penguin right at the last ring gate, and it's on to the boss battle of Act 3. Robotnik's got these rotating spheres protecting him around the edge of the ship, and he fires off blasts of cold air when he drops low. That's when he's close enough for you to attack him. Just make sure to get some height to get over all his bullshit. He'll also drop detonating snowmen. Keep away from him when he does this, and when he's off screen, listen for the whirring sound cue that plays when he drops these guys so you don't get a surprise explosion. Plus it'll increase your chances of getting a hit. Initiate your attacks when he drops down low, hit and run, and after enough shots, you'll finish him off and it's on to Volcano Valley Zone. We go from cold to hot. Instead of rivers of ice, you've got lava this time. Don't try to swim in this shit, jump over it, roll into this bug for a flicky, grab the ring boxes, and swat away at this hornet. Then jump across the way down here for an invincibility, a spring to a sonic head, and this little flying devil guy that gives you a flicky. Plus there's a hidden passage in the wall leading to a Knuckles special stage. There's a spring for a sonic head right after that, and a scorpion right before another couple of lava pits you'll need to clear. Watch these flame guns that fire in front of you, wait for the opening before crossing, and you'll emerge in an open area where the ring gate is. Kill the bug to complete your current flicky collection, smash these rocks, and enter the hole here for a hidden flame shield. Now go through the ring gate, kill the bug and hornet right away, and you'll need to smash this block in the back to get through a hidden passage. But keep in mind there's lava underneath the rest, so either hit your target directly and don't fuss about, or just make sure you've got a flame shield equipped. When you pop out, kill the bug, grab the sonic head via the spring once you get enough flickies, and an optional route up here via this rolly platform that takes you up to what seems like a dead end, but there's a hidden passage through the wall for a Tails special stage. Go back down the other path, ignore the shield if you still have the flame shield activated, go up the rolly platform, kill the scorpion, and up one more rolly platform for another ring gate. Kill the bug, go down this hidden passage in the rocks for a flame shield if you need one, and jump over the fireball stick and kick the hornet and scorpion. Right after that is another rolly platform leading to an open area with a bug and devil thing, a sonic head up this spring, and the ring gate ending the act is right there. In Act 2, you've got 2 different directions to choose from at the start. Head left first, watching out for all the spiked balls that flow back and forth, kill the hornet and plow through the wall here for an invincibility. Then continue down the path you were going, kill the devil guy, hop over the lava for a flame shield, and now you can traverse the lava to get the extra life. Back up where you came from, and now you're in the spot where you would have gone if you went right at the start, so you circle back. Head up the hill, spring your way up here, take this hidden passage for a ring box, go back and kill the bug, and use the spring for a sonic head when you're able. Down here, kill the scorpion, and use this rolly platform, squash the bug, and hit up the ring gate. Hop across here, plow through this crack in the wall for a Tails special stage, and continue down the path where you'll get another hidden passage, this time for an extra life. Kill the bug, grab the sonic head, take the rolly platform up here, kill the devil, and if you want, grab the speed shoes. Then down this way you'll want to get a path that leads to a hornet, scorpion, and bug. Just make sure you avoid the shield if your flame shield is active. Don't rush through. On the other side of the perimeter of this area is a rolly platform that takes you up to a spring for a sonic head, and the ring gate to end the act. The Act 3 boss is one of the bigger pains in the ass in the game, and at the same time you can finish it off quick if you get the rhythm down. So Robotnik is stationed in the center of the small room, and there's lava separating the four corners. He'll send a fire stream that'll chase you around the room for a bit until it peters off. Sounds simple enough, but the only way you can reach Robotnik is to access the pipes that lay across the lava, and the walkable part is narrower than a minnow's dick. At least it seems that way with the slippery controls. First, you gotta land on it successfully, which isn't the easiest thing to judge. Then land your hit, let yourself bounce back so you can land back on the pipe without issue, and then quickly get back on a platform to avoid the inevitable fire stream. But if you get lucky, you can land a few shots in a row before the fire stream shows up, which increases your chances by quite a bit. Your footing is the most important part of the whole thing. It's easy to get discouraged walking these fucking tight ropes, but stay patient, and after enough shots, you'll take them out and it's on to Gene Gadget Zone. Right away, you've got an octopus that spits out what I'm assuming are ink blobs. It travels pretty slow, so let it pass you, don't get directly in front of him, and roll him over. Grab the shield off to the side, kill the rat that wanders around, and you'll notice that these fans send you straight up into the air. Head down this way and be ready for a gun that rotates around in a circle. Quickly take out the rat and head into this pod that sends you down here with an octopus and rat waiting for you on the other side. Just be mindful of the gun that spins around. These floors will trigger an electric current if you stand on it for more than like a millisecond, so don't even bother trying. Just avoid this shit like the plague, and the first ring gate is right after. You'll spin your way through a long corridor, grab the shield, and there's another one of these damn guns. In this open area, you've got two of these flying blowfish and a rat. Be mindful of your footing, cause you've got fans, electric floors out the yin-yang, and slopes in between that don't give you much room to stand freely. So if you have to use the electric floor to hit this guy, jump constantly. Enter this pod when you clear the area, and in between all these fucking fans, you've got an octopus and a flying blowfish that likes to hover over the fans. So jumping to connect with him can be complicated a bit by the fans. Stay patient and attack when the spikes are down. The ring gate is right after. Take out the rat at the beginning of the next section, enter the pod, roll over the octopus, and down the hill leads to a rat and a flying blowfish hanging around the electric floor. Plus there's another one of these fucking guns, so stay fleet of foot. Head up these stairs of fans, take out the octopus, and this pod leads you to the ring gate that ends the act. Watch the spinny gun that shows up right away. Head down here to the pod that'll take you to the small room with an electric floor everywhere. Jump constantly and wipe out the flying blowfish when the spikes are down, and then quickly go back. Take the spinny thing up here to the top floor, take out the rat and avoid the spinny gun. Grab the shield in the corner and take the pod here to this long downhill slope. If you ride all the way down, you'll slide back up through a trapdoor to the room with the electric floor from earlier, and you'll have to backtrack. The way out of this shit is to run off to the sides and scale these protrusions, but if you slip, it's back to the bottom and you've got to backtrack all over again. And it's not just one stop you have to make, there are a few. The first is to the northeast, straight across these protrusions, which may look simple, but it feels pretty awkward. And keep in mind these gray ones shift back and forth. Once you get across, kill the octopus in here and grab the ring box. On your way out, Take these protrusions across and down the opposite end to another small room. This one with a rat you want to kill, a shield, and one of those goddamn forsaken guns. Head back out and use the protrusions to the opposite side and down. Just watch out not to land on the slope back down. And there's a rat alongside another spinny gun right before the ring gate. Grab the shield right away, head up the hill, and kill the rat. You could go up this way, hugging the wall and following the path up to the ring gate, but you're gonna have to backtrack anyway, and there's another way up here that will be more efficient. So head back to where you started this segment and down here to this nook. Careful with your jumping so you get over the spikes, and land up here away from the octopus, and stay off your feet so you don't get electrocuted and kill the fucker. Continue south. There are a ton of fans and electrified flooring, plus another one of these goddamn guns, so watch your step, take out the rat, and as you circle around this way, use the spring in the corner to get up here. Follow the protrusions up here, kill the octopus in this open area, and take the pod up here to the tippity top where the ring gate is. So this was a quick way back down to the last flicky that you need right before the end. Kill the flying blowfish that contains said flicky, and hit the gate to end the act. Now the boss battle in Act 3, and it's basically a conveyor belt that sends these blocks of spikes. Avoid these and don't let the belt take you down to where there are more spikes, although you do want to come this way to grab ring recharges when you need them. Stay back enough so you see the spike blocks coming, and when he gets low, be ready to jump to avoid the missiles he shoots. But this is also the time to attack him. Get to the side of him so the missiles won't hit you, and attack him horizontally. Just make sure to jump when you're fairly close to him so you get a good shot at the glass. You don't want to miss and take a hit. After dealing enough shots, he's blown to shit, and it's on to the last zone, Panic Puppet. Right away you'll discover that this is a lot like Gadget. You've got the electrified floors, spinny guns, and fans. I guess the designers liked these things so much, they said, let's add more. There are a lot of guns in this open area, so watch out for the projectiles, kill the spider or whatever this thing is, and you'll notice you didn't get a flicky. What the hell? That's because in this stage they're encased in these capsules, so break this thing to retrieve it. You don't even need to kill the badniks, really. But these spiders shoot out projectiles, so I suggest getting them out of your way. Make your way into this tight nook in the corner for a shield, and there's a switch right near there where if you jump on the lever, it'll switch the direction of the conveyor belt over here, which will send you down this chute. Watch out for these explosive fucks, don't get too close to them, and use the protrusion on the slope to get up the hill, and then do the same with this long line of protrusions. I mean, it's not that long of a line, but it can be tricky to stay on them, so it does feel like a long line. But before you head up this hill, get the flicky in the corner, and then there's another one once you get to the top. Take out the spider, and watch out for the gun as you get the flicky in this capsule. Go down these fan stairs where there's another spider and some guns and shit guarding the last encapsulated flicky. Then go back up and take this escape pod to down here, grab the invincibility, and head up here to hit the switch for the conveyor belt down here. Leap over the electric floor, but watch out for the spider as soon as you land. In case you need to backtrack, there's a lever here to reverse the conveyor belt, but if you have all 5 flickies, the ring gate is right after, only one segment in this act. So if you thought one segment with encapsulated flickies was weird enough, get a load of Act 2. No flickies this time. The only goal here is to get to the end. Hit this escape pod to get down here, but you've got a fork in the road. If you take this path, there's a shield, but don't take this pod cause it'll just send you back to the beginning. So go back and take the conveyor belt down, grab the speed shoes if you want, just watch out for all the explosives and the gun. And follow the linear path to this open area. Grab the ring box and take this secret path for an extra life. Head into the pod here to go through more of the big machine, which is now apparent that it's a giant Robotnik. Watch the electric currents from the side, roll through the spiders, and take the platform up here, using these protrusions to get onto this platform up here. Take the next platform up, Grab the shield, and you've got a line of explosives and spiders down the home stretch on your way to the end, which is through Robotnik's nose. Okay, so it's time to fight Robotnik. He'll fire off some balls if you're in the center or the far edge of the perimeter. You'll want to get closer to these arms, because the trick is to lure him to attack you with them, which you'll get a sound cue for when he lunges at you. It'll sound like you landed on spikes. When this happens, get the hell out of the way and smash the side of his shoulder area. After enough shots, you'll disable the arm, and once you take out both, he'll switch to another form. Collect any rings you haven't picked up, and slip into the hole to continue the fight down here. This is similar in layout, but instead of smashing you with his arms, this time he fires off a fire stream that chases you around for a bit, similar to the Volcano Valley Robotnik. It sucks playing cat and mouse in this claustrophobic setting, but you gotta do it. Get to one side so when it fires off, you have more room to evade it on the other side, and once it dies off, attack the shoulder thing. Keep this going until you finish off both arms, and there's one more form. Here he fires off a shitload of these projectiles that bounce off the wall, flying all over the place. It's pretty frickin' unpredictable, so jump frequently. This time though, you can cheat to one side rather than have them chase you around like the fire stream, since these fucking things fly all over the room anyway. If you can get hits early after he fires, you'll have less bullets to contend with, cause he stops firing after each hit. When you finish him off, the machine explodes, Sonic escapes with the flickies, and that's the end of the game. At least, it's the end if you didn't get all 7 Chaos Emeralds. If you did, then you battle Robotnik's ultimate weapon in the final fight. Just like the last battle, this one has separate forms in multiple areas. You get 6 rings in the first room and none in the others, so you would think that you might as well pick up all 6 right away, but the thing is, you're gonna come back here and complete all 5 forms all over again. So I would leave half of them for you to pick up on your way back around. So in the first room, he'll slide his hands from side to side, and once he stops, he'll fire. So level yourself away from the line of fire, and as soon as he lunges forward, that's when you lead your attack. You'll get the spaceship sound effect as a cue to make your move. Thankfully, all it takes is 1 hit per form, and then it's on to the next one. But you have to keep in mind that there's a very brief period where he's within reach, so time your attack right. In the next form, he'll send off a fire stick, and similar to the previous battle, you're going to want to let it chase you until it peters out. After a couple go-arounds, he'll lunge forward, hit him and move on. The next form is a tight space where his hands dismember themselves and hover around you. They'll drop down when the intervals between the beeping sounds get less and less. Time your escape, and when they line up on opposite ends, get ready to jump over them. And then Robotnik comes in for a lunge, hit him. Now he'll fire missiles in the air. Watch out for the shadows on the ground to clue you in on where they're coming from. Get the hell out of the way, and smash him when he lunges. The 5th and final form sees Robotnik fire off projectiles in several directions, with the projectiles ricocheting back. But if you stand on the side of him over here, you only have to worry about jumping over the ones coming back at you, because his line of fire forward won't touch you here. Give him a shot when he lunges forward, and you're done with all 5 forms, for now. You circle back around and complete all 5 once again. It's kinda anticlimactic because you've already seen all 5 of these forms already. It's not like there's a grand finale form after you go around the horn, but whatever. Once you finish it off, you'll get the same cutscene of Sonic escaping, but instead of Robotnik taunting you with his ultimate weapon and juggling around the Chaos Emeralds, this time the flickies thank you and the credits roll. So that wraps up Sonic 3D Blast. That also wraps up the Sonic franchise on the Sega Genesis, and that wraps up this edition of Aqualung's Game Reviews. See you next time.